Good evening. We are live. We get a little notification on the screen that says you are live. I love that, but I always feel like I'm waiting. I'm sort of like an awful screen grab of myself. If you've been following exactly that, if you've been following the challenge, you will have seen the screen grabs of my face.
Last
Just
night
sort
was
of
like that last night.
well, they're better than my ones. The ones
Oh,
on the
today's I look like this.
yes.
I'm doing right now on there. Yeah.
And when I upload them to YouTube, it always picks like the worst possible face ever. But our expressions are testament to the amount of passion and
Yeah, there
love
you go.
that we have for this topic. That's what I'm saying. So, welcome, welcome. We'll give it, as usual, a couple of minutes for Facebook to start to send out the notification that we are live. If you know that this will be useful to anybody, please do share in the relevant places. And as you jump on, as always, it'd be lovely, lovely, lovely to hear from you. So please do help us to help you by commenting. Again, doesn't matter if you're watching live or if you are watching on the replay. And what's been really nice, me and Emma have both said this over the past couple of days, it's been so lovely to see the comments that people are leaving after. Maybe some people are still only watching the live from day one and they're commenting, and we're still reading them. So please, please, please know that every comment is read by either myself or Emma, usually both. We don't always have time to respond, but we do. If there's a question or if it sounds like somebody wants extra support, we will always comment. So please do help us to help you by letting us know where you're stuck, letting us know what's going on for you. I'd always really like to know as well how you found this week. Like, what is the biggest takeaway for you? So when you do watch this, whether it be live or on the replay, as you're having a little watch, please do comment and let us know what one thing you're going to take away with you. As we said right at the beginning of the week, our aim, our mission is to help support as many children as possible. So it's the children in your world, whether that be the children in your family, the children in your workplace, or in your classroom. Our job is to help you to empower them to be able to support their emotional, spiritual, and physical health with these kind of tools, these spiritual tools, these breathwork tools, these meditation tools, these mindfulness tools. And we're trying to make it as fun and as engaging for children as possible. And tonight, we are going to share with you, when we get down to it, the our favorite techniques. But really, when me and Emma went and sat down to decide which of we've got so many techniques. We have manuals that are like full to the brim of techniques. And then we also have a bank of ideas that we come up with on the fly as we're working with children, but also a whole load of more ideas that haven't even been put down on paper yet. So we had a whole bank of stuff to pick from, and it was actually really overwhelming trying to pick our favorite. So what we ended up doing was we picked the ones that we know children love the most, and we tried to split it up into categories in terms of age groups, so that whatever age your child is or whatever age you teach, however old the children are that you support, there is something in there for you. But please know that we have so many more. So if you have a specific situation that you want advice with, if you've got a child that has a specific need, please do let us know. And again, we will try and tailor our responses to suit you so that we can together support even more children. The biggest takeaway for me, I want you to be thinking about that, but the biggest takeaway for me this week really has been around me reconnecting. Obviously, we know all this stuff, that's why we're teaching it. But as we come to deliver it, there's always those moments where I go, oh, yes, I forgot that, or I needed to know that myself. One of my quotes that I say all the time is, what comes through me is meant for me. What comes through me is meant for me. So as myself and Emma are really similar in the way that we teach, we do have notes, but a lot of it is, you know, we use our intuition. That's one of the things that meditation's been able to teach us to connect with more deeply. You know, we teach with flow, and it almost comes from somewhere else, you know. But what's really beautiful is when we're delivering this stuff, when it comes through me as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that today. Or last week, I could have remembered that. You know, next week, I'm going to put that into practice. So we can know this stuff intellectually, but sometimes we need to have it said to us, or we need to say it ourselves in order for us to embody that. So what I want to say to you is that we are all on a journey together. And as we're learning from you. It's like that energy exchange is just so gorgeous. So a massive, massive thank you for showing up, for that love and that care and that amount of passion. What has been beautiful to see has been the amount of teachers and TAs that, you know what, you don't need to be here. You've got enough on your plate. But to say that you care enough about those learners, you care enough about them to show up and to give, you've given all day, and then you still want to give more, you know, you're still giving your time. To me, that's giving me goosebumps just talking about it. That's just so inspirational and so motivational to myself, like that. And it's just gorgeous to be a part of. So we are going to get going, and we're going to start sharing with you some of our most favorite techniques. We'll just have a quick look in the comments. Hello Michelle, hello Anna, hello Sarah, and hello Alison. It's nice to have Alison live. Actually, I've been looking at your comments, Alison. Eventually we will get back to you properly, but just know, if you want any support, I loved what you wrote today about how you feel that these techniques are going to support your child. I know, you can reach out to us. So please do, if you need further support. So mostly today it's going to be Emma teaching you, because I think you've probably heard enough of my voice, to be fair, over the past couple of days. I just can't help it. I love it. But what I wanted to talk about really quickly is I just wanted to give you a little list of my favorite techniques and just a tiny bit of info on each one. What Emma's going to do is she's going to take you through how she would teach her three favorite techniques. So one of my favorite ones is just playing musical statues with young children. I love that interplay between the movement and the stillness, and you can really make that mindful by asking them, like I think it was Emma was talking about it yesterday or maybe the day before, about when we come into that stillness and just asking them just to notice what's happening with your heart. Is it going fast or is it going slow? You know, show me where your breath is. Is it up here or is it down here? You know, and just them noticing what happens when they've been jigging and dancing around, those changes in their body. We spoke about that a lot yesterday, you know, just developing that awareness muscle. So that's one of my favorite ones for that. And the kids ask for it all the time. And that's something actually that, even though, you know, when you go out and teach this stuff, sometimes you think, oh, I don't know if these older children are going to enjoy that. Actually, like I think I said yesterday, even corporate, I go into corporate organizations and do this kind of stuff. You know, we never stop enjoying laughter and movement and fun. So it's all about developing your confidence in terms of, like Emma said yesterday, trusting that this stuff works and just going with it. So that's my top favorite one. Another one that I do at home with my own children is if you have like a fidget spinner, you know, those things they're obsessed with, and they just like spin round. And just like literally, can you exhale for as long as it takes for that thing to spin and slow down? And obviously they can never do it for that amount of time, but it's just like giving them that element of like, there's a focus for them to look at, and there's like a destination almost for them to get to. So I love doing that with them as well. And it's something that sort of ties into what I was saying in the video training this morning around sort of making it relevant, putting it into context, finding things that they love and making that thing mindful. That's the easiest way to do it if you're doing it at home. Teaching your own children usually is a little bit more difficult than, because they know exactly how to push your own buttons. But it's absolutely around that. It's like at home, you know your child inside out. You know what works for them and what doesn't. You know what they love. So try and weave that into it. Another one is one of the ones that Emma's going to do with you. I love the superhero breathing. So rather than us just asking children just to breathe in through your nose and make your tummy expand, we allow them to take on a whole new identity as they breathe. And the children, again, they love that and they ask for that week on week, you know. And again, you would think it'd be very small kids, but, you know, right up until maybe like year, I don't know, Emma, maybe.
I've done it with year 6.
There you go. So she's still doing it with them and they still engage and still love it. You know, again, it's that sense of magic, it's that sense of imagination, creativity. Kids really get on board with it. And you can actually pull together if you wanted to. Obviously, we have our own class plans that we use, but if you were to use that kind of thing with a class that you were teaching anyway, you could quite easily pad out a whole lesson around like using your own superpowers of calm, for example, all those kind of things. So I find that really helpful. And another one that I love doing that the kids always ask for as well at home and at school, and when we go in, I used to do lots of after school clubs. And one of the things that they used to love to do and beg me to do is to create calm jars. I meant to bring one to show you, but essentially it's the premise that when we are stressed, we make a bottle basically filled with a mixture of oil, water, food dye and glitter, and we shake it up, and obviously all of that stuff all gets mixed up, and all of the thoughts, all of the feelings, all of the energy is all swirling round in the bottle. And then what we ask children to do is to keep watching and see what happens, you know, and just watch the glitter settle to the bottom. And it opens up a gorgeous conversation around how when we shake our bottles, if you imagine that we're the bottle, full of emotions, full of thoughts, full of feelings, full of energy, when we shake that up in order to try and stop feeling a certain way, all that happens, you know, like us, the action of us shaking that bottle is like us saying, no, I don't want to feel like that, or no, pushing that feeling away, or, you know, I just trying to run away, for example. But actually, when we just sit and allow ourselves to be calm and still, eventually that glitter will fall to the bottom. And it's amazing for them to watch like the clarity of the water. And that takes a little bit of time, but it just, because it's so beautiful as well. Girls in particular really love the making of it. The boys want all the different colours and theirs end up really murky and a bit grim. But the girls are always beautiful pinks, and yeah, the girls' ones are always really nice. Like I think, oh, I'd actually quite like that on the side, you know, because they thought about the different glitters and it all matches and it's all lovely. But it really opens up a conversation around it. We use it in lots of different ways, but that's just one example of a conversation that we could have around the fact that actually the best thing to do with your thoughts, if you don't want to feel a certain way anymore, is just to let them go. They come and they go, and they'll settle eventually on their own time. I could talk for weeks around the calm jar, but that's just one of the things. And the other thing that I love is the I am meditation technique. If you are, you know, wanting more information on I am in particular, or on becoming a meditation mentor for kids, we've got a masterclass where we take you through the I am technique as well. It's on there, right, isn't it, Emma? And we'll share the link for that as well. So that's one of my favorite ones because it works on any age, any stage, and actually again it's derived from our own meditation technique which we use with adults, and kids from age 2 all the way up to 92 can do that technique and engage with it and get the same benefits. It's a beautiful technique. So we are going to let Emma share her wisdom with us now. So what I'll probably do is I'll mute my camera, but I'll still be here, and I'll keep an eye on the comments for you as well, Emma. So over to you. You can take over.
I spotted the comment with Michelle with the year 6 SATs, and I was thinking because we do have a workshop geared around the SATs and the exams, but actually one of the things that I'm going to show you this evening which is sort of geared more towards older children coming into sort of like teens. That one will probably be a good one. So yeah, so as Charlotte said, when she says, pick three, pick three that you love, and then I was like, my mind went blank, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know which one to do. And then I looked, and I was like, oh, there's too many to pick. I don't know which one to go. So I've chosen ones that, yes, I love to teach, but also that I thought would translate across more than just one sort of year group, because I know we've got people who are teaching or parents of varying ages. So I wanted to try and give you something that you could tap into regardless of age. So obviously, we do talk about connecting in with the breath. Normally in our sessions, before we get children to even start connecting in with the breath, is we do get them to do a bit of movement, just because obviously if they've been doing something else and then we're switching, what children are like, when they're engaged in something, and then some children really struggle with that switch into something else. And so we talked about it last night, we do some movement just to get them to, start to be aware of their own bodies and start to sort of bring that balance before we actually go into the breath work. And if you watch babies, if you watch small children, they breathe correctly. They breathe in the right way. They breathe into this whole space here. And somewhere along the way, I'm not even sure when it happens, but at some point, children especially as adults, and we're taught to hold the belly, and don't let that loose. And it's one of the things that I love, because I also teach pregnancy classes. It's one of the things I love is that the upside of being pregnant, you just let those belly muscles go, and we can use this whole space. But actually, yes, somewhere along the way we lose that. And my own daughter this morning, she put a dress on that should still fit her for school, and she's like, I can't breathe. And we unzipped it. She went, oh, thank goodness I can breathe into my belly. And I was like, right, so age 7, we're still breathing into our belly. Where do we lose it? Where does it go? When does it happen? But I know whenever I try to get children to start connecting with the breath, the minute I start to get them to think about breathing deeply, what you'll see them do is this. Because they think, if I do this, this makes me big, and I'm breathing into this whole space. And so it's really about getting them to connect in with this whole area, rather than trying to get them. We're not just making ourselves big. We're actually thinking about this whole. What's the worst thing you can do? Bring your shoulders up. But trying to get them to really connect in with this area. And you've probably seen me playing with this thing. This goes down. Like, the first time you show children this, and you go, and they're like, whoa. They're like amazed. It's like a couple of quid off Amazon. So brilliant tool. So you can get one of these. The kids absolutely love these. Some of them have them at home, actually. They do tell me that they've got them at home. But what I try to get children to do is really start to connect in with this space. And I start to get them to think of, just like my ball here, I want you to think of your body like a ball. So just from underneath your neck here, tops of your shoulders, and then down towards your hips. And we want to think about this whole space as being a ball. And I get them to, sometimes, I'll invite them to close their eyes. Close your eyes if you want. And then you can imagine what your ball looks like. So it could be big, it could be small, it could be any colour, it could be spiky like mine, it could be one of those that when you throw them and they flash, and I get them to just spend a bit of time. So it could be a football, it can be any sort of ball that you want it to be. And I just start to get them to really start to visualise it. So we're starting to tap into their visualisation skills as well, and their imagination. So I just get them to do that first. That's all I want them to do. I want them to just connect in. This is the ball. And before I get them to try and inflate their ball, and in this way, we talk about the easiest way to take in a deep breath. Because as I've already mentioned, as soon as you say taking a deep breath, they go, and they do this. And we don't want them to do that. We want them to try and utilise this whole area. So we talk about breathing in through the nose, but we're going to do 4 little breaths. And what that encourages them to do is, rather than trying just to force a big breath in and lifting themselves up, it gets them to, because it's only a little bit of air, it does really start to use this whole area. So we just do 4 little breaths in through the nose. And then I say it's 1 big breath out through your mouth. And you will always get the whistler. there's one child in the back who thinks that you've not seen them, who will whistle their breath out. So then sometimes if I've got that, I invite them to make a noise. I mean, I think you said it last night, didn't you, Charlotte, about getting them to be audibly breathing out, especially our minis. But year 6, they want to make an audible noise. So I let them do an audible noise, and we practice that. And then I say, I get them to either close their eyes and visualize their chest, their belly expanding. Or I get them to watch my ball, and so we can do it alongside my ball. So we're going to do 4 little breaths in, and then 1 big breath out. And I will just keep doing that technique until I can see, however many children I've got, so I can see that, we're starting to really connect in with that breath, and they're really engaging with it. And then after a little while, and especially as our sessions move on, because this is something that we do every week at the start of our sessions, as we move on, I'll invite them to then take 1 big breath in and 1 big breath out when they feel ready. And I let them choose when they're ready. So I let them choose if they want to carry on with 4 and 1 out. I let them carry on. I get them to decide what feels good for me. The other way to get them to think about it is to get them to really connect in and put their hands, 1 on their chest, 1 on their belly. And I say, see if you can make both of your hands move. So rather than just moving the chest one, let's see if this one can move as well. And again, we could do 4 little breaths in, 1 big breath out. 4 little breaths in, and 1 big breath out. And then I'll start guiding them, and I'll use the ball to guide them rather than me. But whilst I'm doing that, I'll be asking them, can you feel both of those hands moving? And I'll start them to, get them to really sort of connect in. I don't want them to verbalize it. They don't need to tell me. I just want them to feel it. And so that's a really nice way. And that works for, that spans age groups. It's a really nice way to introduce that breath to children.
I love that, Emma. Thank you. I just think it's so important. I love the ball. I think it's the people's perception of breath is that it's up and down, and that I always notice with children, they kind of do it the opposite to what's actually happening. So a lot of children breathe in through their nose, which is great, but then they're sucking their tummy in when they're breathing in. That they do that all the time. So the fact that we have the ball there as a visual aid to say, no, actually you're expanding, you're growing, you're getting bigger. And also, as I said, like a lot of people's perception is that it's just this deep breath in and I come up and then I come back down, when actually it's a 3D movement. So what we want to feel, as you said, is this movement in the tummy, but also up here in the chest, but also behind as well. There's that kind of sense of expansion, and that visual of the ball is just so powerful for getting that. And the other thing that I really love is the breaking the breath down, because when it's only really on those last couple of inhales that you can feel your chest coming up properly, and I just think that just gives you that extra sense of connection to that full expression of breath, not just like a lot of people get the belly breath right and then they forget about the chest bit. So we want it to come up into here. And I think that for children, and actually and adults, but splitting it up like that, you can really feel it much more deeply up here than you would otherwise. And sometimes as well, you only feel that you've inflated on the way back down, and that's absolutely okay as well. But that's amazing. So what else have you got for us?
I was going to say that when you were saying about this 3D expansion, and sometimes, especially in the early sessions, I'll get them to put their hands in different places, and I get them to even put their hands on their shoulders. Just, are your shoulders moving? Okay, this time you can just leave the shoulders down. So they're not even focusing here now. We're just trying to avoid, because you do get the and it's really exaggerated. So I'll play around with it, and I'll say, put your hands in different places so that they can see what's moving and what's going on. Yeah,
beautiful. I'll remute myself.
Definitely buy a ball.
Yes, Kelly, go for it. I love it.
What's really funny as well is because when I'm teaching the whole class, and because obviously I don't know all the children's names, and anybody who's a teacher knows that if you don't know the children's names, you're already at a disadvantage.
Yes.
So I do ask for a member of staff to be in, whilst plus also I don't know school procedure, all the time. So it's easier to have a member of staff in there as well. And you see the staff
Yeah.
start to really sort of come down. But I had one the other day who said, "Oh, I could have gone to sleep." It's really nice to sort of
It's
to see
gorgeous.
the staff even see the staff even just to tune into it as well. So before I do the big movement one, I'll go on to the one that's sort of geared more towards sort of your older age children. So as you've just mentioned, Michelle, SATs are back into the mix now. Yay! And obviously, throughout schooling, children do meet certain points in their education where they are going to meet something that is going to cause some sort of anxiety within them, and maybe is something that they might be worried about, they might be anxious about it. And a really, really nice activity that we do, and it's I think it's the way we start the SATs workshop, actually, isn't it? When we do the workshop, well, it's not just for SATs, actually, it's for the teen one as well, the GCSE one as well. But is to, can you see that? My light's really bright, so don't worry, if I turn it off, I'll probably go into complete darkness. I'll try. Oh yeah, it's not too bad. At least you can see my whiteboard and Charlotte reflected in it. So we get them to think about an event or something that is coming up. If you know that there is something coming up that your child is anxious or worried about, get them to sort of bring that to mind. So exams is the easiest one to sort of pick out, isn't it? Because like I said, it's one of those things that they are going to be very introduced to. I apologise about the state of my daughter's whiteboard. It's disgusting. It's well used. And we get them to draw an iceberg. So if you thought it was a mountain, no, it's meant to be an iceberg. And when we think about an iceberg, we've got sea level and you've got this little bit that shows above the sea, but below the sea is this huge mass. So there's other stuff going on, isn't there? So when we think about this event, so say it is like, let's use exams because it's the easiest one to use. So what we can get the children to do is think about, okay, well, when you do that exam, what is that actually getting from you? What is that showing that you are able to do, that you are capable to do? What is it measuring? Whatever language is best for your age group that you are talking to, whatever's most accessible for them. Okay, what is that actually going to show? What is that actually going to get from you? And we get them to think about that. And you could even get them to maybe think about some of the emotions that they have around how they feel about that event, about those exams. And you get them to start to verbalize them or write them down, just so they've put them somewhere. Okay, this is how I actually feel about it. But in this top part, what does it actually measure? What is it actually going to show? And then we get them to connect in with themselves. And down the bottom here, what are all the things about you that this isn't going to show? So these exams, this event that you're going to do, it only measures this little bit above the surface. It's only going to see a little bit of you. But what about the bits underneath? What else are you capable of? And it's really getting them to connect in. Okay, what are they proud of themselves? What are they good at? What parts of themselves really shine that actually a little test doesn't actually see? I know I was a teacher, but I have a real bugbear for SATs. And I was even on the way home. Imogen didn't take them because she was in year 6 when it was lockdown. So she says, I am so glad I did not have to do. And she is an intelligent child. Like, she would have been great to death. She's an intelligent girl. But she is so glad she did not have to do those SATs because of the anxiety. And I've sat in or stood and invigilated the SATs, and I have watched children fall apart, and I have a real bugbear with what SATs measure. And I've actually done this unconsciously with the children. I've not actually done it as a visual like this, but I've actually said to them, think about it. This test is only showing us what you can do on this day and what you can remember, and that's okay, because there's so much more that you can do. And getting them to really think about what they are capable of, what they're good at, the things that these tests just don't even see. Because they're so much more than a test. They're so much more than what that one day. I was the same. I know you mentioned your 11 plus. I did my 11 plus. I hated exams. I was absolutely terrified of them. And I did my 11 plus, didn't do very well. Got to high school and I was put in lower sets. And then, of course, I was an intelligent child, but I hated tests and I didn't perform. And when I got to high school, they then had to move me into a different class because the class I'd been put in, I had to be in these certain sets and I was too bright for it. I had to be moved because the exam just shows one aspect of you. Yeah. And
it's so powerful.
Because it's a big book there. Yeah.
I love that one because I just think it just is so empowering, even as adults, you know, to do that exercise. As you were talking, I was thinking, I actually need to do this for myself. Like, I've taught it, but maybe I should be doing it for myself in terms of, for example, like the way that we show up as business owners. That business is just that little part of me, but we end up attaching so much of our self-worth to sort of like this external validation, don't we?
Roles and responsibilities, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was in a workshop earlier about the exact same thing about sort of, you know, how our roles and our personality and you know, changes because it's defined by, and somebody was saying, you know, how she would have defined herself when she was in her 20s compared to now in her 40s would be completely different because her roles now are so different to what she was, what role she had in her 20s. And yeah, it is, you're right.
And it's only just that small part of you, really, you know. And I just think, you know, it's really helpful for talking to teenagers around social media. You know, that is, you know, just your Facebook page, your Instagram page just shows that tiny amount of you, or maybe more. I mean, who knows? But you know, there's so much more to you than what can be put across on screen, you know, or what can be shown in a tiny Instagram square. And actually, also, you can do the flip side of it, where you're saying, actually, you know, that you're only seeing that tiny bit of that other person's life. So those people that you're idolizing, putting on a pedestal, actually, that's just the tiny snippet of their world that they want to show you. You know, there's all this other stuff going on, and you can flip it again and use it about, you know, when people do something maybe that's wrong or would be perceived as wrong, and say, actually, there's a whole bigger picture. There's so much more going on underneath the surface, and we're only able to see this tiny bit at the top. So I love that because I just think it's so applicable, right from the quite early on in school all the way up. I would use that all the way up through into teens and even up to 19.
Now when she's saying that she's having, you know, something's come up at school or some little, you know, I don't want to be so stereotypical, but you know what girls are like. and something will have happened. And so you know, it's really good for getting children to be quite empathic as well and to think of it. So yeah, that might have annoyed you, and yes, that does annoy you, and yes, we've got this behaviour, say, or you know, this event has happened, but actually, what's behind that? And getting opening a discussion with her, you know, I don't draw an iceberg every time, but it is getting her to think about, okay, well, yes, this has happened, this event has happened at school, and then, well, what's behind that? What's behind that? You know, that thing that person's done. Yeah.
It's so powerful, isn't it? And just even with just the literally, like, I know, like, we can use it as a tool for conversations, but you can actually get them. I've done it before with the children where we've got them to actually make posters, and we've phrased everything in there as I am statements. So then they're able to use those as affirmations. You know, they can start my little boy's school, and they're really big on starting each morning with affirmations and things, which I think is amazing because we can rewire our brains. You know, hopefully at that age they'll grow up and that's how they'll think about, I am strong, I am confident, I am whatever it is. But you know, like, we need that as adults, don't we, as well? That's how we should start each day. And I know a lot of people, a lot of our Excel instructors, that's how they absolutely do start their day as well. But I just think there's so much power in actually writing you as the person that you're working with, you know, like writing down I am this. So this is the topic that test is going to show that I can do whatever. But then, and I can remember on this day to do that, but then underneath, I am this, I am the other, I am that. I just think it's a really gorgeous record for them to have and refer to and use that week on week with them as well, can't you? And weave that in. We do a lot of work in terms of, Emma's going to talk us through some power posing in a minute, which is amazing. But we do a lot of work where we build one thing to the next. So they might have come up with their affirmations here, then use them in their power poses, but then also we can weave those into our guided meditations and things with them as well. So there's so many applications to that. So that's awesome. So tell us, what is the last technique that you're going to share with them?
Power posing.
Yay! Love
and
it.
now this definitely goes for all ages, and as you say, from 2 to 92. This is for everyone. Power posing is for everyone. And I remember, because I've been teaching the children's classes, and I've been doing the poses and things with them, but actually not linking with it for adults. And it wasn't until we did the training in Power Up, and then I was doing it for myself in the training. At first, I was just like, I don't, because I am that person who is like, I've got like, it's all there. It's gone now. It's gone. I've power posed it out. but yeah, very, very sort of protected, especially around my heart and, into chakras and what have, the heart. I'm very, that is me, that I'm like this. And when we did the power posing, and it's such a release, and there's loads and loads of information about power posing and its impact on you, but it's what you were saying, it's that emotion, it's the motion, the physicality. And when we think about how we hold our bodies when we're feeling particular ways, when we are feeling down, when we are feeling like we need to just shut ourselves away, the dorsal sort of the freeze phase that we can get into, and we just really start to close down. You were saying, weren't you, yesterday, about protecting this part of our body, and we do that. And what power posing does is it just really starts to open you up. And there's, as I said, there's many ways that we can do it, and we do this from very young children and working our way up. And when there's a study that was done on children who were blind, and they studied what those children did at the end of a race. And these children had never seen what a position that somebody goes into when they've won a race. And when the researchers watched the children at the end of the race, all the children were like this. Even though they'd never seen it before, they were like, yes, I have. Yeah. Yeah. I've done it. And that's what we do, isn't it? When we're feeling good about something, when we're celebrating something. I've just been, we went out tonight to celebrate a friend's birthday before I came here. I'm really full of food. Like we've run. But we the celebrate came on, the celebrate, and we were all so I've done my dance today in Frankie and Benny's. but you do, don't you? You're celebrating something when you're feeling good about something. We open up. And that's what I love about power posing. We can do it in so many different ways. And we can, Kelly's put Wonder Woman. Absolutely. But what I love about the power posing, and what you were saying about superheroes and teaching and using the superheroes, I did that. I said to you, didn't I? Put a post in the instructors thing where I said, I was going to do the superheroes, and I was doubting myself, because I'm like, I'm working with Key Stage 2, Year 6. They're just going to be like, I don't think so. I'm not doing it. and I did it, and I can't tell you, the engagement I got from them was just amazing. And part of that was because of the way I turned it and utilised the language that I was using with them and what they were getting out of it. But yeah, so let me show you some positions that we do for superheroes. I'm hoping you can still see me. I don't know if I'm far enough back. Might not be able to stand up. So there's there's different ones that we use, and like Charlotte said, you can pick out ones that maybe are pertinent for you, or you can get the children to decide. There are some point in our sessions where I do actually ask the children to think of their own superhero, and they come up with their own power poses, which is just amazing. But yeah, so one of the ones that we do is the Hulk, which if you've ever watched anything of me before, you might have seen me do the Hulk, which is you have to stand up, and I don't know if I can. You can just about see me, can't you? You can sort of see me. So we plant our feet, and I get the children to sort of stand with their feet really wide, and they ground their feet. We spend a little bit of time grounding the feet. We're making sure the feet. We talk about what the Hulk looks like, and I've got posters and pictures. And we talk about the fact that the Hulk is strong. We talk about his character traits that we might really want to sort of embody. And we talk about how strong the Hulk is, and he's really big. And so we're going to pump ourselves up using our breath so that we are strong, just like the Hulk. And we go back to the breath that I taught at the start, where we're breathing in for 4, and then we're 1 out. And I invite the children, if they so wish, to make a noise again, because the Hulk is unlikely to just go when he breathes out. So I get them to think about the Hulk, and I challenge them to be the loudest class, because you know what? And they get well done if they've been the loudest one. So yeah, so for the Hulk, I get them to really sort of come in like this, crouch, sort of really stand the body so it's nice and strong. And then we talk about pumping ourselves up. So then we're doing 4 breaths in. And we get them to really pump up, and then it's a I really, really just let them let rip with it, and just have a bit of fun with it. And even the older ones were quite happy to have a mess about and do some silly noises. Kids like making stupid noises, don't they?
Oh, they absolutely do. One of my favorite things, and you'll see it's a thread around every live that I do, everything that I do, I talk about this unfolding of the body, that unfolding, but with softness, like we do this with adults, it's that kind of like, yeah, just gentle unfolding more with our adult sessions. But this is so powerful. What we're essentially doing is we're hacking our system, like you described, Emma. There is something primal within us that when we are feeling good, we are hardwired to sort of open up. So what we can do once we understand that, and once we understand that there are receptors within our bodies giving information to the brain, which tells us how we should be thinking, therefore how we should be feeling, therefore how we should be behaving. What we can do is, if we know that when we feel good, we open up, we can hack that system. I'm going to open up first in order to change my thought patterns, in order to change how I feel, in order how to change how I behave. And the research shows just holding that pose for, I think it's a minute at least. 2 minutes is probably optimal for an adult, I would say. But with the children, we get them to a range of different opening up movements. And like Kelly is saying, Wonder Woman also works the same way, hands on hips.
If
It's a
I've had
really, really
to
nice.
go and speak in public and I felt really nervous, I have excused myself to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
I have stood in the toilet cubicle, and I have stood like this
It
for those
works.
and done the opening up, just because of how the impact that it does have on your body, and the way those feel good hormones, and just the fact that you are standing strong and opening up.
Yes.
I've done it myself. I've run in the loo and done it.
It's perfect, isn't it? And grounding, even as well, has physiological impact on your body. So when we say grounding, we mean connecting to the earth beneath us. In an ideal world, we'd be doing it outside, in grass, maybe with our shoes off. If that's possible, that'd be amazing, because that's almost like earthing at the same time. But that kind of sense of connection to the earth beneath you, big toe, little toe, heel, that setup piece at the beginning is really super important. And I think the temptation is to just get on with the posing, but actually it's about feet hip distance apart, as you said, really grounded, and just taking time to breathe, just like that, breathing into the belly and just feeling that sense of support. That again starts to create these physiological changes in our bodies. So it's so powerful. And I saw something today that was talking about grounding and how that reduces inflammation in your body, and it makes absolute sense. And we know that inflammation is like a leading cause of like heavy disease, so we're teaching these children life skills that, like I said at the beginning, this is about not just supporting your mental health. This is about physical health, and this is also about spiritual health as well. Knowing that mindfulness and meditation has so many scientific benefits, but actually you are opening yourself up to a spiritual path. Or what's really amazing, keeping that channel open, because children come to this earth believing in magic, right? Believing that there is something bigger than just you or and I, you know, like they just they see it, they see the detail, they notice the little things, they're so present. And I just think that it keeps that channel open. And the other thing I just want to say really quickly about the Hulk is that what I love about the Hulk and that we do the noise is that what a release of emotion. I mean, we did a workshop today. I ran a workshop for the instructors called Reclaim Your Power. And Sarah, I don't know if she's on, but Sarah was talking about how sometimes she just feels the need just to go out and have like a massive scream. And we just don't give ourselves permission to make noise, right? We just hold it all in, all that energy, all that emotion, and actually that release, or whilst it's all we're laughing and everything as we're doing it, it's really quite powerful in terms of moving emotion through the system. It's such a gorgeous you know, technique. And again, like with all of them, we can adapt them to suit the children that are present. We can use a full range of different superhero poses, and like Emma said, coming up with their own superhero pose. I love that. And we go around the room and we ask each child in turn to say their name, do their pose. And what's really amazing is that the rest of the class have to then also say their name. So it'd be like Emma. And then everyone else says, and Emma does her, I don't know, wacky pose, whatever it is. And then everyone else will say Emma and do the same pose. And it's just so gorgeous to have that kind of, so it brings them together as a group as well. And it's like we're cheerleading each other on. I really enjoy that.
What you were saying about with the I am statements, I did
Yeah.
that with the superheroes. So for the older ones, yes, we did some of the movements. You know, I think I mentioned Iron Man last night, where we build our power in our hands and then we take a breath in and we bring it back down. And you know, so you know, we use that one as well. And you know, Wonder Woman. And but one of the things that I did with that was I got the children to think about what qualities, before we even did any posing, we talked about what qualities superheroes have and what they have to embody to sort of be a superhero, what type of person. And amazingly, they don't just come up with, you know, oh, they have to be strong and they have to be powerful. They don't just come up with that. They're talking about kindness. And you know, and they think outside the box. They've got so many ideas, and it's just amazing. It's like things that I probably wouldn't have actually said if I'd been prompting them. It's you know, they come up with all these ideas. And like I say, it's not just about their strength. And then what I did was, after we'd done the power posing, and I invited them to come up with their own, I asked them to think of one of the qualities of a superhero that they would like to embody, that they would like to draw in. And so we talked about, like, when they were doing the breath in, I think it was Superman's a really good one, because we get them to sort of hold it there and we say, right, hold that superpower in your hands, and as you breathe in, draw that superpower into you, and then we breathe out and we Superman, we pose like Superman. But yeah, getting them to really think about, and then I did, like you were saying about in the guided relaxations, and then doing the same thing, and I got them to think about their own superhero power. I am, and they were repeating it, and then I gave all the classes lollipop sticks for them to draw a superhero on one side, but then I asked them on the back to write I am, and then whatever quality, whatever thing, you know, that they wanted to draw in. So I invited them to write that on the back as well. So they've got their own little superhero with an affirmation written on it, which was a really nice one. I like that.
Perfect. That's what I love about our classes, that the class plans that we've created are, I mean, I know we created them, but they are pretty amazing. But we always start the class, as Emma said, with gentle movement and breath work, and we deepen that exploration into breath work each week. And then we plug in this kind of like exploration topic where we explore like what the topic is for that day, and we have a theme, and then we weave that in. At the end, we always have a guided relaxation, and quite often, if there's time, obviously there's different lengths of sessions, but we also have a craft involved in it as well, and it just pulls it all together and creates lots and lots of space for conversation about emotional well-being, about feelings, about how we think, about being human, all that kind of stuff. So as you're going through the craft, it's a gorgeous like opportunity then where their nervous system is nice and settled, because they're doing something, usually it's quite rhythmic and repetitive. So maybe it's painting, maybe it's colouring, you know, sticking and gluing. It's something where they're just kind of quite busy with their hands. It allows them to come into that really settled, calm and connected ventral vagal state. And then what that means is that they are open and receptive to conversation, to advice, to support, you know. So don't underestimate those opportunities in class as well, like just understanding what you now know about how our bodies work, like just weave that in any opportunity.
Just keep it as well. I mean, you know, I go into school once a week, and so, you know, like any teacher does. Do you remember what we learnt last week?
Yeah.
I don't quite phrase it like that, but what I'll try to do is, obviously, you know, you've got sessions where they carry on one from the other. So it's nice to sort of like, so we did this last week and we sort of do a little recap on, okay, what we've already done, but then it's constantly just weaving it through. So with the breath work, you know, we're weaving it back to what we learned at the beginning and why that breath. And yeah, it's nice to just be able to just build on it and just keep their progress. And you can just see the little light bulb moments, and then, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I just think there's so much value in the repetition of it and the continuity of it when you revisit these things. And I remember that when we were devising our sort of scheme of work, if you like, and initially we were kind of like, let's add more, and I've got this idea, let's add this in, let's add this bit in, let's add this bit in. And what we decided actually was to strip it right back initially to the bare bones of what is most important for children to get a grip on. And I feel like that's so gorgeous just in itself, because, you know, the world in which we live in, we're constantly like we're constantly busy, we're constantly on to the next thing. And, you know, I really believe in the methodology of like, let's learn the stuff, let's implement it. Once we've implemented it, then we're going to embody it, weave that into our everyday life, you know, put it into context. Let's actually see yourself using it, and then we move on. But I just think it's just, if we did it the other way around, where we threw everything at kids straight away, all we're showing them is, you know, that actually you need to do more, you need to be more, you need to be quicker, you need to whiz through this, you know. This is all about presence. This is all about embodiment and grounding and being settled with exactly who you are, the way that it is. So even the way that we deliver this stuff and the volume that we deliver it, it might feel quite sparse if you weren't aware of that kind of like narrative that we're trying to get across. So what I thought we would do is have a quick look through the comments and see what's going on. So Kelly is saying, I've learned repetition is the best way children learn. Absolutely.
And confidence as well, because
exactly,
they're like, I know that, I remember that.
Yeah.
Before you actually build on that knowledge. And yeah,
it's perfect, isn't it? And I just think you've got all those opportunities for stretch and challenge as well. You know, like the more that you revisit it, the more you can kind of weave that kind of magic in. Alison is saying, I might try these techniques to get the kids ready to learn again after lunch. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, that readiness to learn, like, it's just so important, isn't it? But just even if it was just a few minutes of, I don't know, heart focused breath work, or, you know, like getting all the energy out, the Hulk would be awesome for just getting that sort of extra, those last bits that they've not managed to run off. Yeah, or if they've had wet play. Oh, I used to hate that. That'd be the worst, you know, if they've not been out to play for whatever reason in the day because it's too wet on the field or it's raining or whatever.
They need that physical, you know, they need to get it out. And yeah, the fact that they have to sit sometimes for like 2 hours in the morning without actually moving from their seat to do English, then maths, right? Yeah, it's just like, yeah,
it's not good.
What I like.
It's so bad. And then they come back in, and that's so I'd get them after school. So the first thing that I would do is movement, and then I would keep moving keep them moving, keep playing things like the musical statues and all that kind of stuff until I see them settle. So what's really amazing, and this is the reason why we've done it this way, is so that you can understand the principles and like make it work for you on the day, rather than saying it has to be this way, it has to be that way, and not really understanding the theory. We've done it the other way around. So we've given you the theory so that you can come up with your own stuff that works for your own children.
Well,
So
I
let's
like
have a
the Wonder.
look. Which one?
Alice said, going to be a Wonder Hulk. I like that.
Yes, I love it. Lots of grounding, posing and screaming, she says. I love that. Kelly's saying, I do power poses with my class, which is awesome. Then Alison is also talking here about that she gets teased for seeing the bigger picture. Me too. People are like, oh, your problem is you're too nice. I'm like, well, how can that be a problem? But that's what I love about the iceberg activities. It's, it's as the analogy Alison's used there is, like don't judge a book by its cover, essentially. There's so much more underneath. So it's another way of looking at that. Let's have a look. And then we've seen the rest of them, I think, talking about SATs. So what we really wanted to do now, and this won't be for everybody, we really appreciate your time. First of all, before we do anything else, just a massive thank you again for joining us, for being present, for caring enough about the children in your world to want to learn a little bit more. Please know that we are, and this space that you're in right now, so the group, this Facebook group, is a safe space for you to reach out for help, for you to say, I am struggling with this, or as a child in my world that is struggling with XYZ, what can we do to support them? And we will do our absolute best to either put you in touch with an Exhale Kids instructor or solve that problem with you if there isn't one nearby. But as we said at the beginning, our mission is to get, is to support as many children as possible in the world, so we can support them with their emotional health, their physical health and their spiritual health. And that's why we are really, really pleased and excited to be able to offer you the opportunity to come and train with us as Exhale Kids meditation mentors. And what I also want to get across to you is that this training, whilst it will give you the opportunity to go out and teach Exhale Minis, which is our sort of toddler preschool age class, and it'll give you the opportunity to go and teach in schools, either as part of the curriculum or as after school clubs. And it'll also give you opportunity to be able to teach our gorgeous Starlight sleep sessions, which is to prep children for bed so they can actually sleep, which is like one of like the most important gifts that we can give them. Whilst it'll do all that if you want it, we are offering up the opportunity for people to just come if they want to deepen their understanding and plug in these tools and these techniques and the theory into what they already do. So whether you're a teacher, whether you're a kids coach, whether you're a psychologist, psychiatrist, whether you're a social worker, whatever it is, there will be a way for you to work through this course. So what we're going to do for you now is take you through what that training is, what it looks like. Please do stay if that is something that is of interest to you, and please do let us know. If you're going to go, that's absolutely fine. We know this is not for everybody, we're okay with that, but please do let me know what you've gained from this week. What's your biggest takeaway? I'd love to know if you pop that in the comments for me whilst we flow through and have a look at the training that is available. Remember, you can do it personally, you can do it through an organization, or maybe even the school you work for could support you with the training. So let's have a look, see if we can find the right thing. So it's super, super exciting. Emma is going to let me know in a second if she can see. Can you see, Emma, what I can see, which is your gorgeous face on a little video?
Yeah, look at me. I look like I'm ready to thump someone.
You do look fuming there. The reason why I've included this little snippet video, it's really short, is just to give you the motivation to start and to understand that this training is not just about you learning skills to help kids. This is about a personal journey, a personal transformation that you will go on. So I have included this little snippet of what our instructors have said about their personal journey when they decided, you know what, this is the time that's right for me to become an Excel Kids instructor. This is the time that's right for me to learn about meditation and mindfulness. So let me play. They always say it better than me anyway. So let me press play. Go.
Oh, I can't hear them. Sound's not working.
Are you talking to me, Emma?
Yeah, sorry, can't hear the sound. Can't hear the sound.
Do you know? Let me go back a minute. Always the way.
On there, so I did turn
Always
it
the
up,
way.
but I could hear it on
And she's
there.
like, is it me or is it her? There is an option to share the sound. Let me just go. Sorry, everyone's always a technological problem. I wouldn't bother, but it is so. Let's have a look. Guess. Let's have a look. Give me 1 second. If it doesn't work, I will post it in the group later for you to see. But it's such a gorgeous way to sum up the transformation that you go through when you start your training as a meditation instructor. So we'll skip it and I'll post it in the group so you can see it. But it's gorgeous, gorgeous to listen to the girls talk about the journey that they've been on personally when they started. They made that commitment, I guess. So let's see if it lets me move along. There we go. Right. So reason why we started training people to work with children is because our classes were just so popular with adults, and we started to get into that feeling and that sense of, actually, if imagine if we knew this stuff from age 2. Imagine the world that we could create. We have classes up and down the country. And as I say, we had some amazing opportunities, and it just started to bring around that sense of, do you know what, we could really make a difference here. We could really change families. We could change lives with giving the gift that we're giving people. It's almost like when people come and sit with us now, or adults come and sit with us, it's around them sort of having that sense of release. It's like respite from the modern world. But what Exhale Kids can do is about it's like preventative. Hopefully we'll never get to the stage where we're so stressed out that we want to just quit everything and run away. That's the gift that we're giving. So Excel Kids is our baby, and that's our lovely little logo. And this is a picture of me teaching in a school. Absolutely love these children. They just worked so hard and learned so much, and it truly is a gift to be able to go out there and have this as your job. So our training package includes training and techniques to use with children from age 2 to 19. So we give you all of that skill set for that whole age range, all the way up till they leave college. It's a proven business model if you want to use it, but like I said, you have the opportunity to just learn these skills for yourself and bring them into the classroom. If you don't want to become an Excel Kids instructor necessarily outside of work, you don't want to have that as maybe you work part-time, you might want to add it on as an additional stream of income. You can also just take these techniques into whatever career you already have going on, or whatever business you've already got going on. But it is a proven business model. Our instructors do go out there and they do bring home income for their family, and it's a really family friendly way to work. Connected to that, we give you loads of marketing materials, and this is really important. It's ongoing business support and mentorship for a full year. So you get business strategy, but you also get spiritual and meditation and mindfulness mentorship for a year. This is what is really, really important. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute, actually, but you also get connected with that. The class plans, all your class plans are already written for you. You can just take them, use them, either, as I say, as a standalone Excel Kids or Excel Minis class, or you can take them and implement them and use them in your curriculum at school. So This is what it allows you to teach if you wanted to. As I say, we have minis from ages 2 to 4. We've got kids, which is 5 to 12. And we've got Starlight Sleep, which is all about relaxation. It's all about calming and settling and soothing before bedtime. So they're the range of classes that you are able to teach. We're also gifting you, it's not on this slide, but we're gifting you our teens program as well, so that you can go out and teach teens classes at the same time if you wanted to. So what this isn't is a wham bam thank you ma'am type of course. This is an opportunity for you to be supported by an experienced team. Like we say, we're both ex-teachers, but we're also really supporting our own learning constantly. We have mentors, we are mentored, and we pass all that wisdom and knowledge on to you. And what we really want to get across to people is there are courses that you can do where you just go in, they teach you how to read a script, and off you go, and you never hear from that training provider again. What we do is we hold you in that space for an entire year, so you are able to grow, you're able to learn, you're able to be nurtured. And also, you know, sometimes things do come up that you might struggle with. You might have a behavior issue, or you might have a child that has specific needs that you don't know how to address. We are there to be able to support you and help you with that. So the course is community, as I say, for a year. This is like, there's nothing better than people getting together, sharing their wisdom and their knowledge, and you have access to that when you join our Exhale instructor community. You get lifelong support. What I mean by that is, for as long as you want to be part of the Exhale crew, you absolutely can be, and you can have that support for as long as you need it. And as part of our training package, again, it's not just a case of you do the course, you complete it, you get a certificate and off you go. You have, and you'll know this as teachers, we have CPD, you know, in order to be able to deliver classes in such a way, or embed these techniques into your curriculum in such a way that they are safe, they are trauma informed, that they are up to date, they are in line with the current guidance, they're in line with the current scientific developments. We make sure that you are up to date with all of that stuff by offering you free workshops. So we have monthly bonuses. This is what you get every month if you wanted to take part in it. There are some people that come to every single one of these things, and there are some people that just dip in and out when they need the support. So each week, Emma will be taking you through a group coaching session. That's where you can raise questions with Emma. You can also ask her questions like, how do I actually get the school to commit to this? How do I, you know, get another school that I want to work with? How do I get them interested in what we're doing? But also we work on mindset and strategy. We coach and hold and nurture you through the whole process. Each month, Emma will also be taking you through, can't speak them, through because it's all the F, a free training workshop each month, and that will be dependent on the stuff that have come up this month. You know, so it might be what's happening in the current climate, what we're seeing, what trends we're seeing in terms of mental health, and what trends we're seeing in the mindfulness and meditation community, and we will take you through that workshop. Equally, it could be a workshop based on, somebody might say, do you know what, I'm really struggling with X activity. We might explore and deepen that activity so that it's suitable for any age and any stage. You also get a graphics pack each month, so you can use that on social media. You get a new class plan on top of the bank of class plans that you get when you sign up. You get 10 when you sign up, then you get an extra one each month. You also get suggested playlists that you can use in class to support the learning. And you also obviously get the forums and the support. So just the chat, just the inspiration, just the sharing of advice and guidance amongst instructors. Oh, I always feel like I need to take a breath when we do this. So with our Exhale Kids instructor package, you will also receive, this time only, our 21-day transformational meditation experience. Reason why we put this in is because for us, and it's not the same for every training provider, but for us, we really believe that you as a meditation mentor need to have a really grounded, committed, consistent practice We know that in 21 days, you'll have set up a habit of meditating every single day, and it takes 21 days to create a habit. We know that from that point, we'll give you the accountability and the support to be able to make that a consistent part of everyday life. And what happens is that when we sit to meditate each day, you do change, you do transform, and you do grow. So there's that element of it as well. But also, you'll have the credibility to be able to stand up in front of those children and say, do you know what? I do this. And genuinely mean it. Children can feel this stuff as well. They know when you're trying to pull the wool over their eyes. They're so astute. The other thing that we'll gift you as well, which is really going to make things much easier, is we give you our Explode Your Business launch and marketing to schools video packages. So these are bite-sized video training courses, which help you launch your business with a bang, essentially. So this is going to help you get business, but also make sure that you're hitting all the right points in terms of your social media and your emailing and your marketing and all that kind of stuff. So what you also get is 2 masterclasses with me. So you get Transformational Art of Relaxation, which I love, which teaches you all about how to deepen that connection with those children that you are supporting, but also how to support them to create relaxation whenever they need it. It really is an art. And it's really important that you understand how to create that art in the classroom or at home. The other workshop is the one that I've done today. You'll be getting that with me as well, which is all about speaking your truth, standing in your power, feeling inspired, feeling connected, using your intuition, and just really standing up for what you believe in. That's reclaiming your power. I love that one. On top of all the other training, you'll also get our new Heart Space workshop. You'll get a recording of that. And that is designed to empower you to use the magic of your heart to manage your energy and your relationships. It talks about co-regulation, how we can manage and work with our nervous systems. And also, it's going to help you manifest the life that you really want. So those big dreams, it's going to help bring them into reality. On top of the standard training, you'll get a couple of masterclasses with Emma as well. You'll get her masterclass on managing behavior, a teacher's secrets. And you'll also get her session on how to adapt sessions to suit every age and every stage. They are so valuable as well. And speaking from experience, when you do a course, that's kind of a bit like, here's your certificate, off you go. There's not that opportunity to say, actually, I've got this situation, this child really needs this but doesn't understand. How can I help them get it? Those kind of sessions, we're able to tailor to suit specific questions that are in our community. So you also get, and we love these days, we just recently had our branding day a couple of weeks ago, and we had a VIP photo shoot day, and it was all about just feeling special, feeling looked after. We all had our pictures taken to use on our social media, and we had a gorgeous meal together as well. So when you sign up, you get that day as a big discount as well. Just want to read you this feedback from Chloe. She's one of our instructors, and she said, this is what she said after she'd done one of her training days. She said, wow, I've just had the most powerful day's training I think I've ever had with our gorgeous founder, Charlotte. I feel energized. I feel empowered. I feel such a deep sense of connection to myself and to my soul. I don't think I've ever felt so free. I am ready to take on the world. And you know what? Everybody deserves a bit of that in their life, right? That feeling of connection, that feeling of freedom, that feeling of, do you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to make an impact. That's what this training does for you. So when I say it gives you all the theory and all the knowledge and all the skills, it's also giving you all of this as well. This is the transformation. And for me, this is the important bit, because when you transform, when you change, when you show up in your highest self, when you shine your light, you're giving all those children in your world permission to do the same. So when you sign up to train with us, you also get the advantage of being able to use our credibility. We have been featured in so many publications. We've been in Good Housekeeping, Woman Magazine, The Mail on Sunday. We've also taught at Google, at ITV, at various different festivals, including Fern Cotton's Festival. We taught kids classes there. And that just gives people that added level of security, added level of confidence. When you come to them and you say, look, I've been trained by these people that have worked with these types of clients, they'll automatically like, tell me more. So you can really use that, take advantage of that. We encourage that 100%. And when you join us, you're able to train completely online with lifetime access and support. You're also able to refer to our manuals with pre-made class plans, events and workshop plans. You'll also have, and this is the bit that's really important, you'll have access to our leadership team. We've got a safeguarding officer. If you work in schools or social care, you will know what that is. So important that we keep all of the children around us safe. But we also have an anatomy and physiology specialist, so that if you encounter any problems, you are fully supported. So as I say, if you had a child that had specific needs, maybe with their mobility, we can adapt sessions to suit their needs. Here is our gorgeous training team. You've got myself and Emma, myself in a picture there with Claire, who's our lead safeguarding officer, and then you've got me with Laura at the end, who's our anatomy and physiology specialist. We also are really lucky that we have a doTERRA educator who is our resident essential oils expert, and she can help and support you to find essential oils that might work to help support the children in your world. We also have Hannah, who's our social media expert, and she's on hand to deliver expert advice in terms of how to run your marketing plan, your social media strategy, and she gives you a discount if you want to work with her in terms of social media management, etc. We also have Gemma, who's our graphics and creatives expert, and she's on hand to help you create the right type of graphics and to support your new business, but also she creates graphics packs that if you did want to buy any more graphics, she is able to provide those for you. Usually people find that we give them enough ourselves, but we do have that option with Gemma creating bespoke ones for you to use as well. So other reasons why, I take a deep breath, we'll carry on because I get so excited, I go so fast. But other reasons to join the Excel family is rather than having to build a website on your own or pay for one, you get listed on our website. You also will save so much money in terms of graphic design. As I said, you get professional done for you graphics and promotional materials each month, and you get bite-sized training release each month, so you never have to pay again for your CPD, for example. What we do ask is that if you wanted to continue and extend your training journey with us, the next time after a full year after you've enrolled, that'd be available to you at a one-off fee of £130. That's what it currently is. So you can get a whole nother year for £130 after the first year. There's more reviews that the instructors really wanted me to share with you. And this is Sarah. She's an Excel Kids instructor as well. And she said, Excel training is just fab. I've been looking for a course that would suit me, but nothing seemed to sit right. That's when I discovered Excel. And that is so true of so many of our instructors. It's allowed me to deepen my own practice and share it with others. I took a leap of faith. Again, loads of our instructors say that when I signed up, and I've never looked back. I feel incredibly proud and blessed to be a part of this amazing team. We've got Kitty, who says, I'm so happy I made the decision to join the Excel family. It's so flexible and fun, and it's just what people need right now. I had a baby as soon as I finished the course, so I'm now super excited to start teaching more classes and spreading the joy. So, I've got to the end. So this is the bit that everyone wants to know about. How much is it going to cost me? We've tried to make it as accessible as possible. What I want to say is that once a year we also run a bursary scheme so that we give away free training places to those people that we think are going to make the biggest impact but wouldn't ordinarily be able to afford this. But if that is not the case for you and you can't wait till next year, and please leave those places only for those people that absolutely cannot afford this any other way. We have this really accessible low price of the first 10 instructors will pay 1111, and you pay that in full, and then that's you done. You don't have to think about it. Quite often people put it on a credit card and then it's done. And or if that's not an option for you, you can pay one deposit of £99 and then you pay 13 monthly payments of £99 after that. The link is on the top there. You're going to get an email. Like I say, this is not for everybody, but we really wanted to give people the opportunity to explore and deepen their training journey if that's what they feel called to do. This really is a calling. If you feel passionate about supporting children, if you've really felt lit up, I always say follow the joy. If you felt excited, if you felt motivated, if you felt inspired by what we spoke about over the past few days, then please do consider this as an option. And the other thing that I really want to say is, it's always going to feel like a leap. It's always going to feel scary, especially when it's your purpose. When this is part of your purpose, it will feel scary. And the reason for that is that your purpose is twofold. The first sort of point of your purpose, if you like, your purpose in life is to go out and be of service to the world, to share something with the world. But the second point, the second reason why you have a purpose is for your own personal growth. It's for you to remember the true expression of your soul. It's for you to reclaim all of that confidence, all of that courage, all of that creativity. And in order to do that, you need to move out of that comfortable space. In order to transform and grow and learn on your journey, you need to move into that area of fear where you feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit scared. And just know that that never really goes away. But sometimes that fear is a really good sign that you're standing in the right direction. So that's really everything that we have to share with you today. I'm going to pop in the chat box the link if anybody wants it. But what I really wanted to say as well and finish off with is that however you move forward with this journey, we are here to support you. I might have already said it already, but that's because I absolutely mean it. Use that space, use the wisdom, use the knowledge in our community. That is what it's there for. And you'll see we've set up our own training page, a separate Exhale Kids training page now, which will be delivering content onto there as well. So if you follow the Exhale Kids page on Facebook, everything will go on there. But then on Instagram, we've got two separate pages now. We've got Exhale UK and we've got Exhale Kids as well. So search for Exhale Kids if you want that specific content around supporting young people. So Emma, anything you want to add before we go?
No, I think it's been so useful for me. Like you said, it's when we we live it, we do it, and then actually sitting and thinking about it and actually sharing it with other people. I've loved it. I said to you yesterday, I feel so exhausted just for the amount of energy that it does take to sort of give this. But I love doing this stuff. I think it's so important. I shared my why and why it's important and why I think it's important. And what you were saying there about the fear, and that never goes away, and that is so true. I might look like I have it all, like I've got it all together, but oh my gosh, I really took some big steps. Training here just did. It made me look at what wasn't bringing me joy anymore, and what you said about following that joy and following the spark. I didn't think it at first, that wasn't what I thought would happen for me. It was just something to add in to what I was already doing. It's life changing. I left my job because I loved it that much.
I know, and there's so many of you that have done that as well, or in the process of doing that. And I just think, this job, it's not really a job, is it? I always think I can't really say this is a job because it doesn't feel like work.
Teach people how to relax. It's ridiculous.
I know, and get relaxed in the process. It is so awesome. But it is a real gift, but it's also a calling. And I think those instructors that come and train with us, they've heard it, you know, they've felt that sense of inspiration, and even though it's scary, they do eventually take the steps. So it's quite, there's some instructors, there's that type of instructor that just goes in and it's like, I'm in, I'm pressing the button, this is the sign, I'm in, and they just completely leap in, and they absolutely astronomically kind of like transform. And I know that's what happened with you and a few of the others, that you hadn't even been to a class or seen a class.
I did.
You just,
I did.
press that button.
It's so funny because you share so much of your own journey now, and I did not know any of that. I'd seen you because obviously we both used to work for another franchise, and, you know, and I'd seen you in there. Didn't have a clue who you really were, and then this came up, and I think I had one conversation with you, and then I was like, yeah, okay. So, yeah, and I didn't go into it thinking, yeah, I don't know. It felt right at the time, and yeah, Well, like the others said, not look back. So
yeah, you've just got to follow that. You've got to follow it, haven't you? I think. And then there's another type of instructor that's kind of been like, I've been watching you in the background for so long, and I've finally done it. And they're like, I wish I'd done it sooner. But you know, it's about being aware of where you are on your journey, what your circumstances are, and just making your move in your own way, in your own time. But what I will say is, if you have any questions about it, if you want to schedule a call with myself or Emma, and please do get in touch. What else will be happening over the next, we've got a couple of days and then it's half term, isn't it? So next week, Emma is going to be putting together, I'm on a cruise. I mean, I'm just like,
I'm in charge.
See you later, suckers. I'm
I
on a
know.
cruise.
Where's my
Emma,
holiday?
Emma deserves a holiday. You really do. You really do. But Emma's going to be, in charge. She's going to be sharing some really nice mindful activities which you can use with children if you've got children at home, or that you can take into the classroom once you're back in. So there'll be lots going on. We'll be sharing lots of content still. So even though that our free training has ended tonight, it's not the end of your journey with us, unless you choose to leave, which hopefully you will stay with us. So we're going to go, because we said we would be short, we'd be quick tonight, and we haven't. But yes, it has been an absolute pleasure. It is a privilege to do this work, and it just makes my heart so full to know that actually the ripple effects that all of you in this community are creating, like, it's literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. Because if you think about it, when you shape your own nervous system, when you empower yourself with those tools, when you settle and calm your nervous system down, and that means you show up differently when you go into school, when you go into your workplace, when you get home. And from that point, your nervous system then influences those people that you meet there. And then those children go home differently, or they come back to you differently. And so the cycle continues, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And to be part of that, it's just so gorgeous. So thank you so much. Round of applause for everybody. Round of applause for Emma as well, as worked so hard this week with us. And we'll see you very soon.